Hello, I'm Mike Cisco, and welcome to IT Manager Quick Tips, a series of short videos designed to help IT managers of the world achieve more success. Today's video is number 2, titled IT Training Initiative Case Study. It's actually an excerpt from an earlier video that I created in my Practical IT Manager training series titled Develop an IT Training Initiative. In that program, I walk you through how to create an IT training initiative, and I include a case study that you're about to see about a real situation in a hospital where I actually did create an IT training initiative for their IT organization. So let's get started. All right, this case study is I did an interim CIO consulting job for a large hospital a couple of years ago. When I got there, they had 38 IT employees. They had dozens of business applications. In a hospital, you have dozens of business applications. As I recall, it was about 80 business and clinical applications. There were many knowledge silos. What that meant was I had one person who was really an expert or who had functional knowledge in that particular application. So not good. If something happens to that person, I'm at risk of being able to support that application. We had no training focus, and there was no training capability in the hospital at that time. So what I felt like we needed is we need an IT training strategy. So I created an IT training strategy, and the first thing I needed to do was determine what do we have, and then how do we go about bringing people up to speed so we fill all these skill gaps that we have. We had a lot of skill gaps. These knowledge silos essentially are skill gaps. All right, let's take a look at a hospital so you have a feel for this. If you look at a hospital, you have an admissions, you have an emergency room, you have patient beds and nursing stations where all the patients are. You have ancillary departments like lab, pharmacy, radiology. You might have a surgery center, or you probably do have a surgery center. You have back office applications. That's where the accounting people are, billing and accounts receivable, payroll, so on. You might have a cafeteria, which most hospitals do. There's some applications associated with that. You might have a motor pool, an executive wing, security, and IT. Also, if you're a hospital, you've probably done some acquisitions. You've probably acquired some medical groups outside your hospital, and you've either acquired or you've built imaging centers and maybe some outpatient surgery centers. Well, all of these entities that you see within the hospital and outside the hospital, they all have unique business applications. A knowledge silo is I might have our pharmacy application. I might have only one IT person who knows anything about pharmacy. That's a high-risk situation. Pharmacy is a critical application, just like lab, radiology, surgery, admissions, all those. All right, if I've only got one person who understands that application, I've got a high risk, especially if something were to happen to that person. And it prevents that person from really being able to go on vacation without having some kind of support impact to our organization. Want to address all these unique business applications. Well, step 1 is to identify the skills that we need. All right, well, in a hospital, the IT organization needs to have some technical skill, obviously, network, systems, engineering and management types of skill, business applications, clinical applications, other applications, help desks, IT security, project management, and training, and even some soft skills like communication, follow-up skills, and so forth. So there's a lot of skills that we need in our IT organization. All right, so to use this as an example, let's pick some. Here's some skills that we've identified for this example. We need Citrix, Oracle DBA, admissions, lab, radiology, pharmacy, accounting, and emergency room application skills. Now, obviously, there'd be a whole lot more than this that we need, but we're going to pick these to go through this example that I'm going to show you in this training program. All right, the step 2 is quantify what you have. Well, the first thing we want to do is I want to list the skills. So the skills that I showed you on the previous page, Citrix, Oracle DBA, admissions, lab, radiology, pharmacy, accounting, emergency room application, we list those down the left side of the page. So those are the rows of our little spreadsheet. And then we list the employees up at the top. So I've got I don't know, 8 or 10 employees: Mary, Jean, Adam, Laura, Beth, Alex, Bob, Bill, and John. And then the next thing we have is we have a color scheme. I'm going to go through an inventory of what skills each of my people have, and I'm going to identify if they have expert or functional knowledge, or if they have some knowledge. Maybe they're not experts and they're not truly functional, but they have some knowledge about that. Those will be coded in yellow. The experts will be coded in green, or shaded in green and yellow. Alright, so we go through all these, and what you see is you see in Citrix, Bob has green, so he has functional knowledge, he's an expert. Bill and John have some knowledge about Citrix, so theirs is in yellow. Oracle DBA, John is in green, so he's an expert. Bill is in yellow, so he has some knowledge. If you go on down to lab, I have one person. Jean is an expert, but I don't show anybody who has any knowledge in lab. Well, that's dangerous, as I keep saying. All right, so we go through all of this, and we inventory all of our people, and we identify what skills that they have for all of these skills that we've identified that we need in our IT support organization. All right, and you see that on this page. All right, so when we finish that, the next step is to determine the training priority. Well, to determine the training priority, there's a couple things that you want to look at first. First, we want to attack our mission critical skill gaps. So I just mentioned lab is a mission critical skill. I only have one person who has knowledge in that area, and that's Jean. So we need to develop some expertise in lab for sure. Then you might have mission critical skill depth is needed. I need some backup in some areas. So maybe that's in radiology. I've got one person with functional knowledge or expertise and one person with some knowledge. Maybe I need to develop more than one person who's an expert. Okay, and the same thing with accounting. All right, then there might be other skill gaps or other skill depth that you want to focus on. So that'd be the sequence I would go through. Mission critical skill gaps, mission critical skill depth, other skill gaps, other skill depth. That'd be the process I'd go through to help me prioritize what I train. All right, step 4 is identify what the training options are. Who's going to train it? What are we going to train? When and how? So what to train, and then the priority of that, I just mentioned how I would go through and identify the priority. Who to train, we identify that based upon who has expertise leaning toward those particular applications like radiology or accounting, and then how to develop and deliver the training, and then when to train. When you train, you need 2 experts in each major application, at least 2. Because again, it's hard for people to go on vacation. If someone were to get sick or to be out or leave your company, that puts you at risk. So you need at least 2 experts in all of these mission critical, especially applications. All right, so in lab, we're going to identify Adam and Beth. And then when you do a training class, you need to send at least 2 people to a class. If you're going to go through that process, it's better to have a little bit more expertise than you need than it is to not have enough. So for example, if I just send one person to a lab class and now I've got 2, that's great, but what happens if I lose somebody? Now I'm back to 1 again. So when I send somebody to lab training, whether I'm doing it internally or externally, I want to send 2 people to the class. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, radiology, we identified Jean and Adam are going to go to that training. That way we'll end up with 3 people who have functional knowledge once we bring them up to speed, and then we go on down the line. All right, once you finish this exercise, now you have a master training plan. On one page, you're going to be able to see all the skills that you need, and then you're going to see all your people. You're going to be able to identify what skills are in place and who has those skills. And you're also going to be able to see who you're going to develop or target to develop training for each specific skill item. All right, so it identifies the focus that's needed. It identifies the training priority that you've identified, and it's also identifying who you're going to train. Fine-tune this so that all the skills and training are covered from your master matrix. All right, next, determine how you're going to provide the training. You can do internal classes, you can do external classes. Maybe you're doing self-studies or online training or other. Maybe you're doing some lunch and learns to train people on some certain types of things. All right, target the dates that you want to have each of these training classes that you've identified. Defining the due dates is going to help you make it happen. If you don't put a target date on it, it'll tend to just sit there and nobody is really going to focus on it. So you might need to make people accountable to make these things happen. You want to add a training and education section to every employee's performance plan. Every employee in your organization should have a training and education section. I can tell you when I do performance plans, every employee of mine has a training and education section. It's very important for you to focus their training and their development. And when you get that in place, you want to insert the training detail in each plan of the objectives that you've identified. So if you've got Bob Smith and you've identified you're going to send him to 3 classes, a couple of general classes, and maybe he's going to go to lab, put those into his performance plan, his annual performance plan, and then put training dates on there. So put in the training items and then the due dates in the plan, and it'll make it happen. All right, creating an IT training initiative pays real dividends. It helps you create and build a stronger team. It eliminates skill gaps, and it motivates your team. All of these things are very good things for your IT organization. All right, let's summarize this one on creating a master IT training plan. Training and education are big motivators, especially for IT employees. They want to be developed, and especially in the technology and also the things that help them become more professional. So they're looking to do more and be better IT employees, and training education is a way to get to that. It's big motivators for IT employees. First thing you want to do is see what you have, both capability and capacity, with an IT employee skills matrix like I showed you. You want to prioritize the skill gaps in mission critical skill areas especially, and then create a master IT training plan from that exercise, and then put training into employee performance plan. I want to thank you for watching the video, and I wish you the very best of success. While you're here, be sure to subscribe to my channel by hitting the subscribe button below the video. And if you're interested in more IT Manager resources to help you achieve more success, take a look at my website at itmanagerinstitute.com. Thanks again, and best of success.